Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 26 of our Let's Play series, Stalingrad to Berlin, War in the East 2. In this episode, we're going to be doing the air phase of turn 14 in the first half of ground combat, making our way from Leningrad, down south to the Smolensk pocket. Boy, I'm going to have some trouble if I keep mispronouncing all these cities. And we'll see how close we can get down to the Rostov front. And as we usually do in the second half to finish up turn 14, we'll introduce a new mechanic in episode 27. But first, let's begin as we always do by looking at the ever-annoying weather table to see if winter in Russia is finally going to be over. We go over to info screens and weather, and we see for February 18th, which is our current week, air conditions are blizzard, all across our front. Down by the Crimea and Rostov, it's just snowfall. When we look at conditions on the ground, we see that it's either heavy snow or snow all along our front lines. So weather is not gotten any better this turn, which the forecast from the previous two episodes kind of alluded to. When we look at the forecast for the next turn, turn 15, we see that the blizzard continues to move south here. So potentially this might open up for us with some clearer weather in the north of our front line. Maybe, by the time we move out of February and into March. So with that, we'll do what we usually do with our air armies. I've already gone through, set all of them to resting status, and set their configuration so they don't fly in blizzard conditions, which doesn't seem worthwhile to throw away our airframes in such a situation. So we're going to go ahead and click execute our air directives, and we will let the AI go ahead and execute this phase, although there should not really be any sorties to fly. Going through day 1 already, and making our way through the week. As I've said so many times, when the weather does clear up, we will certainly take a closer look at the air war and all of the intricacies that this game presents for air combat and air support to ground units. But there's just not much point in the middle of winter. This is a little uncommon with these Let's Play series because in this scenario, we actually begin the series in the Russian winter, whereas with, say, the Operation Barbarossa campaign, which is the German offensive that began the Eastern Front, it's in the middle of the summer, so there's tons of air combat. But in this scenario, we just have to wait a little bit to get to those spring and summer months. So now that we've done that, we find ourselves up north by Leningrad, and we can begin executing our ground combat phase. We see that they continue to move around and reposition some of their units here, but when we look west of Leningrad, there's still not a situation we can take advantage of, and our intent isn't to break out here, right? Our strategy is to really maintain a line along our northern frontier, and around Lake Ilmen, really try to push through. That's going to be the priority for us. But we'll still see if there's any opportunities to take advantage of. I'm not seeing any just from glancing through all these units. Defensive value of 18. We'd have just a little better than 1-to-1 odds there. And they actually moved up into that pocket. That was not previously occupied, I don't believe, in the previous turn. And we see that they have no fortification levels. So the best case scenario here is if we take all these units and attack, that's 30 to 20 in terms of combat value. I wonder if we don't take, though, the 2nd Rifle Corps, if we move that over and then attack. Because it does feel like we should put some type of pressure on them if it's at all possible. We have 2 infantry divisions there that are quite dug in. I don't like the idea of them digging into this hex. It's not sitting well with me. So maybe we look to see where we can move up stronger units. So here we have a couple of rifle divisions that are at combat value 5. I think what we will do is take the 294th off the line. I'm going to move you back here. And we're going to move the 2nd Rifle Corps over. Now when we do the math, we are at 36 to 19. And again, we have one that is just 2. So if we take this 4th Guards, that might work out. So we're going to move you here. We're going to take the 45th Guards, excuse me. I'm going to move you up, I think. With that, we are still within range of the 67th Army, so we're going to leave them right where they're at. Now the math is 40 to 20, so we're approaching 2 to 1 odds. Just a hair under when it comes to rounding. So here we have 4s, 3s. So we could take one of the 3s and move them out. You are actually kind of low supply, not low supply, but you have some supply difficulty. So we're going to take you off the front to this hex. And we will move up. Which of these units are in best condition? Probably the 11th Rifle, I would say. We're going to move you in. You will help reinforce. Alright, so now find ourselves in a slightly better situation. Actually, not quite. That actually weakened us a little. And I think we will also say, alright, what support units are available to be assigned? So let's assign, I think, 47th Tank Brigade to the 45th Guards. And then let's take a look at the 285th Rifle. They don't really have anything. What about the 2nd Rifle? They already have an anti-tank brigade and an anti-tank regiment. But let's go ahead and attach the 123rd Tank Brigade. And we're going to detach the 5th Destroyer anti-tank and attach the 44th Tank Brigade instead. Looking over here at this stack, these are all part of the 54th Army and one that is part of the 8th Army. So we don't have anything to add there. The 8th Army has these separate tank battalions that are available though. So we're going to attach one of those. And then we'll go over here and we again have 8th Army units. I think we will attach you to the 265th. Yeah, so we're going to attach this separate tank battalion. Okay. So as close as we're going to get, this is pretty much 2 to 1. We're going to go ahead and attack here. They did hold the line. Okay. 5 to 1 losses in men. That seems quite substantial, doesn't it? So let's see what happened. We lost 5,000 men, they lost 1,000. We lost 76 guns, they lost 100. And we lost 100 armored fighting vehicles. Let's see how that played out. So mostly Stugs and Martyrs they lost. We lost a lot of T-60s, a couple of Stuarts it looks like, and then a bunch of T-34s, which is our mainstay battle tank or medium tank. We look at gun platforms here, it was mostly mortars that we lost. Yeah, so 25 of our 76 losses were just these 2 mortar units. I'm a little curious how they managed to hold so well. If we were to say, let's try it again, it's not even close really. So I think what we will do is we will move off the line. You move, yeah, the 111th Guards up. Also take off this rifle division. Oh, I did not see that was going to run you to exhaustion. I'm sorry. That's a mistake. Let's see where else we need to maybe do some moving, shuffling. So we'll move up the 80th. Okay. Just trying to help reinforce it a little bit. We're going to take this rifle division and move you over here. Okay. defensive values for these units, we should be sitting just fine against any potential counterattack. This is the most vulnerable X. And they have about 16 defensive value. We're actually kind of at risk with that one. Okay. Well, we'll see if they do attack. If they do, it might open us up to be able to counterattack in the next turn. Continuing to move down, we see they're pretty well dug in. We're not going to find ourselves with any advantages here, so we'll keep going. Down here, though, right? So that's pretty much 1-to-1 if we tried anything there. Here, we might have a better chance. So let's just real quick look. This is going to be 23 to 14. Yeah. Let's see. So if we took that rifle division and moved them down, then if we attacked, it's 2-to-1. Let's give it a try. Being a little more aggressive this turn as our supply situations have improved on some of these lines. Now, it wasn't successful, but it did lower their fortification level, which I'm pretty happy about, because now that does mean they're going to endure more attrition as that blizzard impacts them in terms of just men losses. And also it might open us up to be able to have better success in the next turn as we look to counterattack there. And in preparation for that, I think we might move down one of these units. Yeah, we're going to move you down to get ready for that. To be able to have another infantry division that's ready and able to step in and push there towards this Novigorod? Yeah, it is. Okay. Now over here, this has been where we've been having a lot of success lately. We continue to try to push south of Lake Ilmen. And this, if we get this hex, this is where it starts to break out, right? Because then, if we can take this hex, they have to defend 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes from us. Now, does that mean we can also be counterattacked in 4 hexes? It does. But I think it will stretch them so much it will force them to pull reinforcements down from the north. And I also think because of our weight of numbers here, we're going to be able to be quite effective in that situation. So right off the bat here, we have a rifle division that's at 4 combat value. I'd like to swap that out with some of our stronger units that we have here. But before we do that, I might do a hasty attack, just to try to weaken them a little. I hope this doesn't backfire on me. So let's do a hasty attack. That did absolutely nothing. Okay, so now we're just going to pull you off the line. We're going to move up this 359th Rifle Division. Okay, so that's there. So now if we take the entire stack and attack, we're at about 2-to-1 odds. How can we improve our odds even more? Let's see if maybe there aren't support units in the 30th Army that we can attach. Let's check that. So there's some anti-tank regiments. So let's actually see from our last little recon that we did there. Okay, so they have a Panzer division in that stack. So ground combat. So Panzer 3s and Panzer 4s were involved in the last one. There might be even more there though. Okay. So that might be worth it then to attach some anti-tank regiments. So let's do that. We'll attach you there. Go here. You already have a tank brigade attached. You already have a ski brigade attached. Okay, very well. Take all of you guys and let's go for it. Let's try it. No, they held. Damn it. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to focus on getting some of these units out so then we can bring up fresh units to continue the attack. And here we're going to bring up the 26th Rifle Division. And I think what we're going to have to do is take like this guards unit up. And then we can move out the 375th. Okay, this is looking good. We can take up the 28th Guard here. Still want to move. You don't have enough movement points to go out there. Let's bring you out. Doing a bit of that shuffle right of units here. Okay. So now let's see what we can bring up here. Maybe the 188th Rifle Division. Okay, and you're part of the 27th Army. So you've got some new armies here. Let's see what support units are available. We're going to attach this anti-tank regiment because we know they have a panzer division that we're assaulting. And let's also attach this ski brigade. And the 28th Guards is part of the 11th Army. Let's attach this separate tank battalion. Alright. So now we take all of these units and we again attack. Did they hold again? No. They did. Okay, the good news is it reduced their fort level to nothing. The question now is, do we have enough movement points to move out any of these units? Yes or no? It's not looking like it. That then does put us in a bit of a precarious spot because our defensive value now in this hex, it's not bad, but it's not great. So we're looking at about 10. And they would then have almost 3-to-1 odds, 27 to 10. Yeah, we can't. Fifth Guards would be the only one that can move, and I don't know that I want to move them back. Let's move them here. Okay, so we can actually evac some of these units. So let's take the weakest one, the 188th. That's going to exhaust you, so I don't want to move you, actually. Let's take the 28th Guards. You don't have enough movement points. Of course not. Alright, we're just going to have to exhaust them. But now we can take the 52nd Rifle and move you up. I don't think you guys can go anymore. What if we attack again? 1-to-1? That's tempting. That is a tempting proposition. So we just moved up the 52nd. Let's attach to them this anti-tank regiment. I'm going to go for it. Let's go for it. We were unsuccessful. Okay. But our defensive value now in this hex has improved slightly. We're still at about 10 though, pretty close to 10. So then the question is, we don't stand any chance of having any impact on those guys. I think we might move this rifle division here. We're going to bring up this artillery, I think, here. Yeah, who can we get out? We can't get any of you out. It all comes down to this bottleneck. This is why it's so important we break through. We have so many men here, but we just can't leverage them because of this traffic jam we find ourselves in. So let's move you there. We're going to bring you up. Okay. Wow. What's been happening here? You guys, your combat value is just 1 each is because of TOE? Yeah. Whoa. You guys are beaten down. We need to do something about that. And we don't have any hope against that with the condition these guys are in. We have plenty to be able to hold the line, so at least there's that. Not sure how much else we can do other than maybe take... Actually, let's see, did they counterattack here last turn? They did not. They held the line. Let's take this rifle division off the line. And let's bring up this guards unit. More important to have them there or to bring them down here. Honestly, it's probably better to have them up here. There's just no way to get them there. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna go here. The guards unit is going to move up 1 to be ready to step up to the front line next turn. Okay. Here we have this rifle division, which can move up. I do wonder if it's not worth pushing here, though. So if you move up there, you don't have enough this turn, but maybe next turn you can get up there. Okay. Yeah, so now the great hope that we have is that we will be able to defend this hex from a counterattack next turn, and I feel quite certain that they will counterattack. Maybe we can just check those support units and see. So you're actually still in good condition, so we don't need to do anything with you. You're fine. I want to make sure those support units are all good enough condition, and it looks like they are. The separate tank battalion is not, though. So it only has half of its medium tanks. So the question is, are they better off having a different unit? But I don't think we can change that right now. Okay. Well, here's to hoping we can hold. That would have been so nice to have been able to push through there. But it just does not look like it was meant to be. Okay. Moving on further south, let's see what we have available to us. Gonna hold this line again, all swamp territory, just horrible to try to get supplies back into these units. We're gonna hold everyone there. And then we get here, and we start to run into what we closed the previous episode with, and that was they have really reinforced this entire sector that we were trying to push through to get to Idritsa. Right, like this was the goal, was to get to Idritsa. We were going to try to cut through here to try to make it. And it just, and this is actually even rough terrain, so it's not even clear. But they have brought in a number of panzer elements. So we see here they have the 8th Panzer, they have the LAH SS Panzergrenadier Division, the 11th Panzer, the 12th Panzer, the Das Reich SS Panzergrenadier Division. Over here is the 6th Panzer and the Totenkopf SS Panzergrenadier Division, which actually 2 turns ago was up here counterattacking us. So they have really made a decision to stop us here. Right? Like this is a conscious effort of theirs. So I think what we might end up doing is we're just going to just reestablish and hold a defensive line in this entire sector here. And then we're going to take advantage of them reallocating their resources, because it looks like they pulled a lot of these from their defense of Smolensk. So I'm hopeful that we can continue on and actually capture Smolensk. And then that really forces them into a decision of, because if we can, the goal of ours should be to take these armies here, which again are getting a little congested, and to stretch the German line even wider. And the wider we stretch that German line, the more they have to consider where are these panzer divisions supporting, right? So let's see how we want to construct this, right? I'm almost hesitant, for example, right, to like leave these units here. So I actually think I'm going to pull these guys back. I'm going to pull these guys back. We'll take that artillery division and move them back as well. We're going to set them on reserve status since they're just there for defense. And I'd forgotten to do that up here as well. This just helps with their supply consumption a little. And yeah, I think this HQ unit, I want to get on a rail liner in a city here. So I think we're going to move you here. We're going to move up these armor elements. Here we go. Okay. So now all of our armor is either in a fortification level 2 in a city or on an HQ in a city, so that should really help a lot. And then this is going to be the southern tip of our front. I don't think they're going to be brave enough to try to cut in through here. If they do, I'm honestly just going to say, okay, fine. I'm going to let them do it. I'm going to let them create a spearhead in here if that's really what they want to do with their armor units. And then when they do that, that means they would have weakened their front over here, and we will then attack. So it's almost kind of tempting them, if you will, to attack there. The only change I am going to make is we're going to bring back these units here. Because here there's a fortification level of 2, which then look at those defensive values, right? It significantly improves their position. Just as these guys, right, they went up to a defensive value of 20 by moving back to that fortification level 2. They want to try to break through here, fine. It's going to exhaust them, it's going to take all their movement points, and all they're taking is swampland. Didn't want that swampland anyways. So, that's all good. Right here, I think we need to look at, we've got a couple of rifle brigades and rifle divisions, and these guys are struggling a little bit. So I think we're actually going to move back some of these units. And this is part of the 1st Shock Army, so I don't want to separate it necessarily from its core army group, but I do want to hold this line, so we will move them up. Yeah. Then right here, you are supposed to be part with the 39th Army, aren't you? Let's do the right thing here and get these groups a little more focused on where they're all sitting. 3rd Shock Army's fine. You're all 3rd Shock Army. 3rd Shock Army. I feel like the 3rd Shock Army has way too many under its command. 33 to 21. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Same with the 5th Army. And 1st Shock Army does not, though. We have a couple of units here that are part of the 1st Shock Army. Let's get you some. Hide our hexes here. I think that's a town. No, it's not. Don't really have any towns there, do we? Regardless, we'll move you up there. Let's take some of you back to the 1st Shock Army. Also take you. 1st Shock Army. What are they at now? 19 to 21, so we can do one more division at least. Let's do this rifle division to the 1st Shock Army. Okay, so now 1st Shock Army is 21 out of 21. The third shock army is better. Still in a crappy position, but better. Near the Clinton front HQ. Okay. We're pretty much at capacity. Very well. One thing I am going to do is I am going to attack here because I really don't want them to build up fortifications of this this rail line here. So we're gonna go ahead and attack. Right, so we retreat and we rout at them. That's fine. Good. So now we at least hold that. And is there a river there? Look like, yeah, there's a river. I'm wondering if it's not worth being aggressive and moving into that. Because it feels like that could be advantageous. You don't have enough movement to get up there, do you? Took the 7th Guards, you do. It's really kind of pushing you. 135th Rifle does not have enough. Why do none of you have enough to get up there? Feels a little ridiculous. We have more than enough defensive value in this hex. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to take that guards unit and move them up. We're going to take this guards unit here. And that rifle division doesn't have. Kidding. You are in bad supply. You could make it there. Are you going to be a hero or aren't you? Maybe not this turn. Surely we can get something there to help these guys. Oh, why are you on refit status? You'd be unready. 3.9 is not enough to survive their counterattacks. We have to move units there to help them. Should not be this hard to find something that has enough movement to get up there. Let's see. Take that rifle division. It's pushing them to exhaustion to get there. We're going to do that. Defensive value is fine there. And I think we're going to take this mechanized unit up here. So this means they have a defensive value of 6. That is not enough. It's just not enough. Worry about these guys and what we've done to move them up here. Let's give them an anti-tank regiment, maybe? What are the elements that the Germans have on each side of us? So they have a portion of the Totenkopfestes Panzergrenadier Division. And then they have a motorized division. So I think it probably would be worth adding. We're actually going to give them the Rifle Brigade. 47th Rifle Brigade. And then what can we attach to you? Nothing. Can we attach to you? Rifle Brigade again. I think that might make sense. Alright. So what has that done for us? So defensive value now is much higher. Good. Good. That has helped a lot. We've added about 8,000 men to the problem. So, good. That worked out well. Looking further along here, right, again, the name of the game is how do we fortify ourselves. We have more than enough strength here in some of these hexes to defend. So I actually think we might move into... really want to move into that hex. Maybe I just focus on pushing back these guys, this infantry division. So you're all at high fatigue, though. So I think we might let you just stay. I think this might be the line, this little kind of sideways L, if you will. I think this is how we will keep things. And again, one of the cores here, no pun intended, is going to be the reinforcement of our tank cores and making sure that once we get them to full strength that we leverage them as best as possible to push through. And hopefully by the time that happens, it will mean that we have pushed enough on Smolensk that they now are reconsidering their allocation of forces. Right. I think as we get near to Smolensk proper, it is going to be a very tough decision for them to say, do they want to open up this road straight to Minsk, or would they rather defend the road to Riga? Now, if I'm the German player, I'm going to say I'm defending the road to Riga so I can come up with a plan to pull back my forces here. The problem for them is that as we approach Smolensk, if we can create a spearhead here, a bubble almost, that then widens the front. It stretches them further, right? So really, the name of the game for the German player almost has to be, how do I keep my front line as small as possible? That's how I view it right now, and would probably be my tactic if I were them, which I think then is a combination of moving forces back and forth between the two fronts as long as you can. And I'm hoping that if they do that, then we can take advantage of when they reallocate these units to push through. And I think if we do make it to Adritsa, that changes a lot of the questions for them. Yeah, okay. So let's move on to Smolensk then and see what's happening. I seem to remember somewhere in here I had comments about some of these units and their readiness, but nothing is sticking out to me. And I have learned very much so that I need to start taking notes as I go through these episodes. You have no fatigue. Combat prep 100. Where's your other element? There's a mechanized core. Thought there were 3 of these. Maybe there are not. So here I think there were some battles. Yeah, there were. Okay, so we got pushed out of this hex. Let's see how that went for us. So right off the bat, they attacked with an infantry division and we just halt range 625. Nothing happened. The second attack, they attacked with a different infantry division. We held 200 to 200 losses, so each side was pretty equal. On the third attack, that's when they brought in 5 times our number, and we only lost men at a 2-to-1 ratio. And look at this, right? 5-to-1 ratio in terms of forces, and they had this Panzer Corps. And we managed to take out 5 of their armored elements. That's fine, right? That's hard for them to replace, easy for us. And then down here, skipping ahead a little on the front line, but let's also look here. It looks like we held at first pretty much 1-to-1 odds. A lot of men involved. And then in the second turn, it was just a follow-up attack that proved to be too much. We had 1 force rout and 2 retreat. And then they moved into that hex. So, okay. What's interesting there, though, is it's really opened it up for us to counterattack again, not only here, but also in this hex. I'm optimistic we're going to have a lot of fun in this little pocket. I think one of the first questions is going to be these two, which do we attack? And I'm leaning towards going after this 330th Infantry Division, as it is the road to Smolensk. And I kind of want, as much as possible, open up this road. So, very first thing we're going to do is take all of our units here, If we do an attack, we have pretty much 3-to-1 odds. And we push them back. And we capture their depot there. So that's great news. Then what I want to do is say, okay, let's take this entire stack. Oh, you don't have enough to move there, really? Let's take this tank corps. How about that? And let's also take up this cavalry. We take both of you and attack. They held. I didn't think they would as we had just pushed them back, but it looks like they did. Okay, very well. Let's take this tank corps up here. Zone of control is so important right now. Maybe I've worked myself into a poor position there. Let's take all of you and push back. Yeah, 3-to-1. We'll do it. They retreated. Good, good, good. So we can move all of you up. Now if we attack, 2-to-1. Route it. Alright, here we go. Now let's start to push through. You still can't? Really? Is it too far or what is it? Interesting. I don't think we have enough here to continue pressing them. What about this mechanized group? You can't make it up there either, huh? Okay. Very well. Let's see. Fifth guards? You can. You can. Alright. You're gonna break through, buddy. You are the forward element. I like that. And what about the 9th Tank Corps? Can you get up there and support? Let's bring you up here. All right. We're making some progress here. I'm going to take this rifle division and bring them up. And we will also take that 10th guard. I think we'll move you here. Let's now take both of you and attack here. Alright, so that pushed them back. Let's attack again here. Oh no, we don't have enough. We just don't have you attack. Let's move you guys here and attack. They retreated. Okay. Good. And if we attack here, it's not quite 2-to-1. I don't think we have enough there. We have enough for that rifle brigade. This 29th Guards can certainly make it. So if both of you attack, that's 2-to-1. They held. Use the fortification level to 0 though, so that's something. Let's take all of you and you attack here. Let's retreat at them back. And then maybe that allows us to take these 2 rifle brigades. And now if all of you attack, they held again. Shoot. Take all of you and attack. They rout it as expected. We move this entire stack forward. That's 2-to-1. Let's do it. They retreated. We are being very aggressive here. This might be almost as aggressive as I've been the entire series. Let's take that rifle division here. Don't have enough. Okay. Defensive value's fine in terms of counterattack there. You guys, 3.6. You are vulnerable, though. You are not safe. Fear for your lives if you are in this hex. So I think what we might do is take like the 413th. We might move them over here. So then that gives us a defensive value of about 7. It's still going to be tough to hold out. So let's bring in another 8,000 men. So that's about 10. So while we would probably lose if they all 3 hexes attack here, I don't think they will, because I think they now have a lot of other problems to worry about here, where we've kind of shattered this entire front that they have. There might still be opportunities here yet to attack. So for example, if we move up this rifle division, let's move up this guards division, and this rifle division. If all of us attack here, nope, not close. What was I doing? I should have known that wouldn't work. Let's see. I do wonder, probably not going to have enough to attack there even if I move a bunch of you guys forward. So I think what we might do is just get some of you mechanized units in position to continue forward in this spearhead that we have. I'm actually going to move you up to help prevent yourself from being victim of a counterattack here. So I do see, well, they have 9. Yeah, we at the very least don't have 2 to 1 against us there anymore. So, take off the hexes. Let's move the HQ down to that town. That then gets everyone back in range. You can go to the town too. Is that actually where we have a depot? It is not. Is it because the rail line's not repaired? It is because the rail line's not repaired. Would have thunk. So on that note, I don't think we have any rail units here. Okay. It's mechanite core. I want to do the same thing with you. I want you to be ready to push through here. Does it make sense to maybe have one of these tank cores move up? You don't have enough movement points. I think we already checked this. Yeah, you don't, because of the zone control that this is exerting, I think. Okay, but we are... Yeah, this is a serious problem for the German forces, right? This is a big problem, and it is because they've taken these panzer elements and they've moved them over here to stop us from attacking on Idritsa. So while we did not have the progress near Idritsa that we wanted, we've had great progress near Smolensk. So it's just a trade that was made. That's all that happened there. Continuing through, we've got this rifle division, which I think we can move up. We'll have you come up here. Need to take you off refit, though. Okay. I think it might be better for you to be on that town hex. Better would have been right here. Yeah, let's move you guys there. Okay. You rifle division, you can move up and you can help support this hex, I suppose. Down here we have less areas of opportunity to really push through. Maybe you could do something here. Nah, it's not even 2-to-1 fortification level of 3. We're just going to leave that be. But I think we will move up that rifle division just to be ready to help out and a little closer to the front line. Down here, so let's see what's happening down here. Kind of feels like they're inviting us to counterattack against these hexes. So let's take the bait. So we'll push them back. They rout it. And now, again, forces them a decision. What are they going to bring up to reinforce that hex? Right? That's what we're trying to get them to do. Here, they're so dug in, we're just going to have to worry about going around them, not through them. Let's see. Down here near Orel. So Orel continues to be a conundrum for us, but before I forget, Moscow defense units, you are being reallocated. So let's take you and move you via rail down here. 10,000 men straight from Moscow coming to help out with Orel. Gotta love the sound effects of these guys moving down here. You can just immerse yourself right into it. And then we're going to take you off the train. And let's get the other units as well. You can come on down to the same hex embedding. Yep. So using the rail line here might hurt a little bit with the supply situation for the next turn or two. But at this point, we need to throw some men at the front. And actually, I'm wondering if I don't combine you. That's this one. Yeah, so now we just have that rifle division. I'd rather have just the one unit. You're going to have to stay on the train this turn, which is unfortunate. But still the fastest way to get you down there. And they have to stay on the train because if you remember, you need 100 strategic movement points to move off of the train. And here we're ending with only 85 left. So only have a couple more of these to move down. But this is literally saying, you know, we got a problem with Orel. Let's throw 100,000 men at that problem and see if that helps. That's kind of what we're doing here. And I think it will help, if I'm being honest. I think it will help. You do not look like you're giving me the option to move you. Why is that? You're not on a rail hex? That might be it. Let's move you to a rail hex. Let's move you here. And then rail movement. There we go. We figured it out. Yeah, so all you guys are going to be taking up some of the freight here as you move. That'll be okay. Alright, so you are all there. And then we have your HQ unit. Which I don't know that I can move you. I don't think I can. Your Stavka. I want to attach you to a city location. Let's see. Kind of would like you just not to be the Moscow Defense Zone HQ. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to take a look at the HQ units we do have down here and assign you. So you are already over capacity. You have some room. And you are just part of the frontier. You have room for one more. We need to move you over because you're out of range of some of your units. And the 13th Army is over. Okay. So for now, this is this is not what you would call min-maxing by any stretch. It is the polar opposite. We are going to get you as part of the 3rd Army for now. And we'll figure things out from there. Next turn I might assign 2 of you here, 2 of you here, etc. But for now I just need you to be part of the 3rd Army. Okay. So there's that, all said and done. So reinforcements are on the way. The question is, what do we do this turn? Right, that's the dilemma. Our defensive value in some of these hexes are perfectly fine. So I have no worries right here. This is all good. This hex outside of Orel, same situation. We have plenty to be able to defend that hex. So no worries. Where I do have worries is where they broke through a little here. So I think what we're going to do is this unit right here. We're going to take the 30th Guards Battalion. We're going to move you down here. You are going to kick these guys out of our space. Alright, so they've been pushed back. Then we're going to say, you know what, we have plenty defending this hex, so we're going to do a bit of that sideways shuffle, where you move down here, and you now counterattack this hex. 3-1 should be fine. We were fine. Now I'm going to have you guys go ahead and attack here, route it, and retreat it. Excellent news. And do we move everyone up? That's a tough question, isn't it? I think we will. We're going to move all these guys up. And the 149th Rifle, yeah, we don't have enough movement with you. We do with you two, though. So we're going to take both of you and move you up. Defensive value there is 6 against attack of 5. Perfectly fine. We are now stretching their front line. Here we're going to take these guys, attack. We're not even going to do a deliberate attack. We're going to do a hasty attack. They rout it. Good news. And when we look at our defensive value, we're going to take the 287th and the 60th Rifle, if they have the capacity, and we're going to move them over. Ooh, no, shoot. That would exhaust them. What's our defensive value there now? 5? I think they're going to be okay. And we'll have to wait till next turn to get those other guys there. We don't have enough to move anything there down, do we? You guys are at 8 movement. Not enough. Okay. But now we're doing the same thing, right? Look how we are stretching their line. And we say, okay, if you want to counterattack here, we're just going to break through on this side. It's no problem for us, right? That's our whole plan here. Just where they attack somewhere, we're going to counterattack on a different part of the front line. Not a problem. I don't think we're yeah, we don't have enough to really contest this hex that broke through here. I don't know that I want to rush these guys back into that hex, opening themselves up for counterattacks. So we're going to leave all of this be. And again, the 100,000 men that we just shipped in from Moscow, give it 2 turns and they're going to be right up here and ready to push through and encircle Orel. I think this will finally be the breaking point where now that we've broken through so clearly on this side and we've taken the hexes, they're now going to be forced to say, well, we're starting to get Orel encircled, right? Because I go one more hex here and their only way out is this rail line. So that's going to put significant pressure on their decision making. And I think this is as good a spot as any to end this episode. So first, just want to say thank you as always for giving the series and videos a watch. I hope they've been helpful to you and entertaining to you as well. Should you have any questions, feedback, or comments for the series or this video, please be sure to leave them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you in there as soon as I can to try to address what you've got. And with that, have yourselves a great day, strategy gamers. Bye now.